The cold night air pressed heavy against the small village of Willowbrook. Silence enveloped the narrow streets, save for the distant whisper of the river flowing just beyond the trees. In the heart of the village stood a modest cottage, where a family struggled beneath an invisible weight, a weight forged not by hardship alone, but by the cruelty of one who should have loved. Marina was barely 5 years old when the shadow of her stepmother darkened her life. Her mother had passed away soon after her birth, leaving her father broken and vulnerable. Into that fragile home stepped Lena, a woman whose smile never reached her eyes and whose heart seemed untouched by compassion. From the start, Marina sensed the coldness beneath her stepmother's sweetness. But she was just a child, too young to fight, too small to understand. The village folk whispered of Lena's bitterness. Some said she was jealous of Marina's innocent beauty. Others believed she resented the child for taking her husband's attention. Whatever the reason, the truth was undeniable. Lena's love was a lie, her affection a pretense. Her cruelty grew with every passing day, leaving Marina trembling in corners and hiding behind doors. One evening, the air thickened with tension. The household was quieter than usual. Marina's father sat by the fire, lost in thought, unaware of the storm brewing within his own walls. Lena paced near the window, her lips pressed into a thin line. Her eyes flicked toward Marina, who sat clutching a rag doll in the corner of the room, too afraid to move. "Marina," Lena called softly, but there was no warmth in her voice. "Come here." The child hesitated, but obeyed. She approached slowly, heart pounding. Lena's hand shot out like a striking snake, grabbing Marina's wrist with an iron grip. "You're nothing but a burden," she hissed, "and tonight that burden will disappear." Marina's eyes widened with terror. "Please don't," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm your stepdaughter." "Stepdaughter or not," Lena spat, "you don't belong here." Before anyone could stop her, Lena dragged Marina to the back door that led toward the river. The moonlight glinted off the water, cold and unforgiving. Marina's cries were swallowed by the night as Lena's grip tightened. Without hesitation, she lifted the trembling child and carried her toward the edge. But what no one knew was that Marina was not an ordinary child. She was born from a secret older than the village itself, the daughter of the river goddess, who had long watched over the land. Her mother, the goddess Nerina, had once walked among humans, hidden in plain sight, protecting the village's water and its people. When Nerina's human love died, she vanished into the river's depths, leaving Marina behind in mortal form, a fragile bridge between two worlds. As Lena prepared to cast Marina into the water, a strange light began to shimmer beneath the river's surface. The wind stilled. The water rippled, though no stone had been thrown. For a fleeting moment, it seemed the river itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a powerful surge of energy burst forth from the water, freezing Lena in place. Her eyes widened as a soft voice echoed through the night, calm but unwavering. "Release the child." Lena's grip loosened involuntarily. Marina slipped from her arms, landing safely on the muddy riverbank. The light grew stronger, swirling around the baby girl like a protective cloak. From the depths of the river emerged Nerina, radiant and commanding. Her presence was at once fierce and gentle, her eyes shimmering like liquid silver. She reached out, lifting Marina into her arms. "My daughter," she whispered, cradling the child with a tenderness that transcended worlds. The village awoke to an unbelievable sight. Nerina stood before them, holding Marina, her presence undeniable. The villagers fell silent, awestruck by the goddess who had come to reclaim what was hers. Marina's father rushed forward, tears streaming down his face. "My daughter," he murmured, unable to comprehend the miracle before him. Lena stood frozen, exposed in her cruelty. The villagers' whispers turned from fear to anger, but Nerina raised a hand, silencing the crowd. "This child belongs to both worlds," she said softly. "She is a symbol of hope and balance. She must be protected." Over the following days, Nerina taught Marina to understand her unique gifts, the ability to listen to the river's whispers, to heal the water and the land, to bring life where there was decay. But with power came responsibility. Marina's journey would not be easy. There would be those who envied her and feared the unknown. Lena's bitterness did not vanish with that night. It grew into resentment, a dark storm that threatened to destroy all that Marina held dear. One evening, as Marina and Nerina sat by the riverbank, the goddess spoke gently. "Remember, my daughter, your strength is not in your power alone, but in your kindness and courage. You will face darkness, but you must never let it consume you." Marina nodded, clutching a smooth stone Nerina had given her. "I will be brave." Nerina smiled, her eyes full of pride. "The river flows through you. No matter where life takes you, its current will always guide you home." But the past was never far behind. Lena watched from the shadows, her heart hardened by jealousy and regret. She vowed silently to reclaim what she believed was hers, even if it meant crossing into the world of gods. The story of Marina was no longer just that of a frightened child. It was a tale of resilience, of ancient magic, and the eternal struggle between darkness and light. And in the quiet village of Willowbrook, the river whispered a promise that love, no matter how deeply buried, would always find its way back. The days following Nerina's miraculous arrival felt like a dream to the villagers. Life at the river's edge began to bloom anew. Crops thrived, the water sparkled like never before, and the children laughed freely. Marina, under her mother's watchful gaze, grew stronger and wiser with each passing day. But beneath this calm surface, a quiet tension simmered. Lena, rejected and humiliated, nursed a heart full of bitterness. She could no longer harm Marina directly, but her spite found darker ways. Whispers began to spread, rumors that the goddess's return was a curse, a danger to the village's peace. Some villagers, fearful of change and the unknown, started to turn away from Marina and Nerina. One chilly evening, Marina sat alone by the river, her small fingers tracing patterns on the water's surface. She felt the tug of loneliness, a yearning for acceptance that even the goddess's love could not erase. Suddenly, a shadow moved along the trees, watching her. Lena stepped forward, her eyes cold, but her voice low. "You think you belong here because of her?" she said bitterly. "But you are still just a child, torn between two worlds that don't want you." Marina met her gaze steadily. "I may be different," she replied softly, "but I belong to this river and to this village, and I will protect them both. You don't even understand the world you're in." Before Marina could respond, a sudden gust of wind swirled the river's surface, stirring up leaves and water droplets like a living storm. Nerina appeared behind her daughter, radiant and commanding. "Enough," Nerina said firmly. "This village is under my protection." Lena's face twisted in rage, but she knew she was powerless in the presence of a goddess. Yet her dark resolve only grew. That night, she disappeared into the forest, her heart consumed by plans born from jealousy and spite. Meanwhile, Marina's bond with the river deepened. She discovered that her gift was not just healing, but also listening to the stories carried by the current, stories of the past, warnings for the future. One day, the river whispered a troubling message. A great storm was coming, one that could flood the village and wash away everything. Marina rushed to Nerina. "Mother, the river is afraid. A storm is coming and the village must be prepared." Nerina's eyes darkened with concern. "We must warn the villagers. They must work together to protect their homes." Together, Marina and Nerina gathered the villagers. Though some still doubted the goddess's power, Marina's sincerity and courage inspired many to listen. The village united, reinforcing homes, clearing debris, and preparing for the worst. As the storm clouds gathered overhead, Lena watched from afar, her heart torn between envy and a flicker of guilt. She knew that if the village survived, it would be because of Marina, the child she once tried to destroy. When the storm finally hit, it raged with the fury of 1,000 storms. The river swelled, threatening to burst its banks. But the villagers stood firm, guided by Marina's strength and Nerina's blessing. The floodwaters battered the village, but thanks to their efforts, destruction was limited. After the storm passed, the villagers gathered by the river once more, grateful and united. Marina stood among them, no longer a frightened child, but a symbol of hope and resilience. In the days that followed, Lena returned to the village, humbled and changed. She approached Marina and Nerina with tears in her eyes. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I let my anger blind me. You saved us all." Marina looked at her stepmother, feeling the weight of forgiveness in her heart. We all have darkness inside us. What matters is choosing to step into the light. Nerina smiled warmly. This village is stronger because we face the storm together, even the storms within our own hearts. The story of Marina, the river goddess's daughter, became a legend in Willowbrook, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, love and courage can heal the deepest wounds.